Another Brick Band here with day 4 of my Avengers Endgame week. Today I'll be reviewing Iron Man Hall of Armor. Let's take a closer look. This is LEGO set 76125. It was released in April 2019, has 524 pieces, 6 minifigures, and cost about $60 when it was released. This is one of 6 sets created based on Avengers Endgame. I'll review the minifigures in a bit, but let's start with the main build. When I first saw the pictures for this set, I was very excited. I've always liked Iron Man, and this seemed like a great idea for a set. I'm happy to say that after building the set, I am not disappointed. The main build has 9 alcoves for suits, an equipping frame, and Tony's desk with 4 monitors. Each of these bays are built in a similar fashion and are clipped together so that you can position the Hall of Armor in a variety of different ways. So you can make it really wide, or you can move it closer in for display purposes. If I move it to the side here, you can get a better look at this armor equipping frame. You can see that there's a couple of articulating arms here. I have the Mark 41 suit in there. Notice that it does rotate through there. These arms move. They have 2 articulation points and are on ball joints, so you can actually position these in lots of different ways to simulate, putting on or taking off an Iron Man suit. Inside the alcoves there are different accessories. For example, here you see the blender that has the pink and green studs in it, so that's representative of the juice drink that he had to drink in Iron Man 2. Next to that is a photon blaster and an energy blade, which is more reminiscent of Infinity War. Over here in this alcove, you see that there is a jetpack on a little stand here. This piece here is so that you can attach the equipping frame inside the Hall of Armor. And then the last couple of alcoves have kind of a tool storage. In this case there's a wrench, and then a little spot here where you can put his helmet or a hairpiece, for example. If he was working on a particular suit of armor, for example, you could say put the torso right here on the workbench and he can work on that particular suit of armor. Lastly, if you look really closely, and I'll turn this around, but you can see in these alcoves there are stickers on the backs of those windows that are clear glass behind the alcove. One is the Mark V suitcase armor, which you can see on the right. In the center is the Mark 25 striker armor, and then to the right is a reference to the House Party Protocol. You might remember from Iron Man 3. You can also see these from the back, which might make them a little bit more visible. They do go the full length of the glass. The computer consoles on Tony's desk also have printing on them. I'm going to put them against a black background so you get a better view of what's on them. Taking a closer look at the monitors from Tony's desk, these are the ones from the left side of the desk. The first one shows Agent Coulson as a blocked collar, some charts and graphs, and then on the other side there's a system error when he's running, it looks like he's running a diagnostic on a helmet piece there, and also shows an intruder alert with an Outrider there in the picture. The 2 monitors from the left side include a virtual keyboard, again more charts and graphs, and then a nice reference to Jarvis on the final panel. So let's take a look at some of the side builds now. The build for the Mark 38 armor, or Igor suit, is quite detailed as well. There are several stickers that add good detailing to the figure. The eyes, as you see up there in the middle, are on a printed 1x2 tile. Surprisingly, a minifigure fits inside the armor quite well, making this a good workhorse kind of suit. I have Tony here. We'll go ahead and put him inside the armor. There's a plate here that he just snaps in. Down here, close these up, put his arm down, there we go, close this up. And you see that he fits really well inside of the figure. The other nice thing is all of the joints are on ball joints, so there's a lot of flexibility that you can move the figure, put him in lots of different poses. Pretty stable when moving him around, so you can put him in a walking pose or various other ways. So overall, a really nice little build of a bigger suit that can be used for heavy lifting and other big tasks that the Iron Man armor just isn't ready for. The last part of this build is Dum-E with his trusty fire extinguisher. Yet another reference to the original Iron Man movie. Dum-E is a clever build that uses clips to make joints, as you can see here, which gives him quite a bit of flexibility to move around. I like the use of this cone piece on the top to represent the dunce cap on him. And there's Technic pieces along the bottom here which make for really nice simulations of tires or treads that he runs on and moves around on. And he comes with a couple of fires so that he can put that fire extinguisher to good use. Let's take a look at the minifigures now. This set includes 6 minifigures, 4 of which are versions of Iron Man armor: the Mark I, Mark V, Mark 41, and the Mark 50. There are also 2 Outriders included. We will start with the Mark I and the Mark V. The Mark I is the original suit Tony made in the Afghanistan caves. It is nicely done in all silver and has an unfinished look since it was made out of spare parts. And I think they captured this really well using the prints on the minifigure. The helmet is one piece, so it doesn't have the flip-up face that we see in newer versions of the Iron Man armor. The Mark V is a suitcase armor from Iron Man 2, and this figure also looks really good. It's red and silver, which is accurate to the movie, and the printing is a good representation of all the plates that made up the armor, because it was made up of lots of different segments so it could fold up into the suitcase size. Each of these figures have a clear head since they're supposed to be just empty suits of armor. Moving around to the backs, once again you see some really nice printing here on the back of the figures. Certainly on the Mark I, you see a lot of detail around the little parts and wires and exposed gears that are inside of the armor, making for its very rough initial appearance. And then again on the back of the Mark V, you see all those different segments and lines showing that this is a very expanded suit out of a small suitcase size. Let's move on to the next 2 figures. Here we have the Mark 41 armor from Iron Man 3, done in black and gold with lots of small detail. The Mark 50 suit, which is the nanotechnology suit Tony wore in Infinity War. Just like the previous 2 suits, the Mark 41 suit has just a clear head inside, and the Mark 50 suit actually has Tony in it. So you do get Tony Stark head that you can put on any of the armors that you want, but in the directions it has Tony set up in the Mark 50 suit. You can also see that he has the light blue shading over his head here representing the HUD from inside of the helmet. The printing on both of these figures is really good. I like how it blends from the chest piece. Notice on the Mark 41 there's lots of little detail behind the gold printing done in that lighter gray color. And then the printing continues down the fronts of the legs and even down to the feet with some little gold toes. On the Mark 50 armor, you see some good detailing around that as well, going all the way down to the legs and feet. Moving around to the back, you see that Tony has an alternate face without the blue HUD display. Also notice that the back of the figure is printed quite well. The Mark 41 is also done quite well using the gold and the light gray to highlight a lot of the little details inside of the armor itself, making this a very complex piece of armor. The last 2 figures are identical Outriders. I like the gold printing against the black minifigures, and the face prints are quite good. Outrider minifigures are included in 5 out of the 6 sets, so you get a lot of these in different configurations. These two just happen to have this shorter robotic type arms. Moving around to the back, you see that I removed one of the arm extensions. These are newer pieces that were created for the Avengers Infinity War sets, or really the 2018 Marvel Superheroes line. But I've removed it from the one so that you can see the nice printing on the back, so there is quite a bit of good detailing, just like there is on the front. I also like the gold detailing they put on the back of the head of these figures because I think it adds just enough detail so they're not just plain black in the back. Since these figures don't have a hairpiece or any kind of helmet or anything, this adds a little bit of detail that would be sorely missed if it wasn't there. So that wraps up the 6 minifigures that are included with this set. Let's go back and I'll give you my conclusions. Overall, this is a great set. I like the armors that are included with the set. And if you have some other versions of Iron Man from older sets, this is a great way to display them. It wouldn't be too difficult to get the parts needed for additional alcoves. They are relatively easy to build and don't require a lot of parts. They are also designed to be very modular. You can clip them together, you can stack them up, lots of different options. The small accessories like the little tool bench, the jetpack, the weapons rack, and even the blender can all be moved to other alcoves or to other places, giving it a lot of, again, modular ability and the ability to reconfigure it to however you like it. The 2 other robot builds, Igor and Dum-E, are both really nice. They're built very well. They're both very posable. Igor holds a minifigure just fine, so it makes it more of an exosuit or an enhanced larger size suit, which is obviously what it was intended for. The price to part ratio is just over 11 cents per part, which is a little bit above that magic number of 10 cents per part. However, having 6 minifigures, especially 4 versions of Iron Man, make this a really good value in my opinion. I hope that you've enjoyed my thoughts on this Avengers Endgame set. I'll be posting the next set, Avengers Ultimate Quinjet, tomorrow. Until then, happy building! If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe to see more videos. Click the bell to be alerted when a new video is posted.